wish you could have my view. Look at all the smiles. Huh? First of all, I want to thank you for having me share with you a little bit about what I've come to become passionate about, and for having this forum. I mean, if Jean was here, I'd be hopping and hugging her right now because she's someone of such a vision. I've got to spend a little bit of time with Jean. We're yet to have a one-on-one, okay? But our little side conversation turned into a 25-minute conversation. But it takes visionaries, right, to actually make things happen. And what I have learned is a group like Successful Thinkers is where people with vision come together, and we all have our own visions, right? But it takes like-minded individuals to really feed that synergy off of each other so that we can go out there and impact lives and create great things that we couldn't do alone, right? There's a saying that, not a saying, what do you call them, acronym? Team. Together.
Everyone achieves more.
See, I'm in the right room. A lot of people don't know the acronym, and sometimes I share it, they go, wow, I like that, I'm going to write that down. But team is really, when you think about the true successful people in the world, they didn't achieve success by themselves. They become great leaders that their vision is big enough to carry all the other people to follow them, right? So what I'm going to share with you this morning, and actually I'm going to ask Stephanie Vargas, my dear, dear friend, to pass out the handouts. So you don't have to take crazy notes. Well, you should anyway, but for you to have to follow along, okay? What I'm going to share with you this morning is something that it's kind of a little bit of a compilation of what's happened to me in the past 4 years, okay? Just to give you, and don't start reading yet, okay? Stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, we're going to have some fun. You're going to be taking notes along the bullet points, but what I want to share with you is in the past 4 years, what has happened to me is I've been in real estate for close to a decade. And, have been blessed, I've done well, not really having sales background prior, but I like people, and I like feeling good about helping, right? And it's good when you get paid helping, right? So you keep doing more. So I have 2 boys, and I said to myself, you know what? After having done real estate, having had somewhat control of my time, so don't let anybody fool you and tell you that when you're in real estate you have control of your time when you don't, right? Because you're around your client schedule. But I found that, and I said, you know what? I like working for myself. My husband's a CPA. He has a regular job in the city. So we don't have that quality lifestyle, except on weekends. Forget about tax season when I don't see him, right? So about 4 years ago, we were literally looking for a backup plan because of the economy. It was going like this, and I started to see the balloon bursting. And I said, I still want to work for myself. So we looked at literally 15 different industries. We went to a business symposium. My neighbor, my cousin, didn't invite me to some network marketing business, okay? We were looking for a business. And after all the different models we looked at, we ended up seeing the appeal in what direction network marketing offers. Because you can start in your spare time. You just got to put in your full-time mentality to do it. But we didn't really know how to do it. How many of you are involved in network marketing? Okay. And the rest of you don't look at us like we're weird. It's just another industry, okay? And when I first looked at it, I didn't have the pre-notion of, what it was going to be, what it's not, and all that. I just wanted to learn it. Because I figured if there's anything that anybody can do, there isn't a reason why I can't do it, right? But I didn't have the confidence or the understanding at the time. So we kind of got into network marketing, got some great mentorship, people that are actually in New York, okay? My mentors are in New York, they're not here. And I kind of started the business out of my house and all that stuff. Well, 3.5 years later, we hit a position called Senior Vice President. The stock options, the car, all of that stuff. So we're like, this stuff works. But see, you can't get, in leadership, you can't get to the position without developing other leaders, right? And that's the whole big secret of all this. It's about you duplicating what you do. So I'm sharing this with you to say this, okay? If you're in network marketing today, and I'm not just speaking to that group, but the majority of the network marketers are here in the room, and that's why I wanted to share that with you. If that you gotta learn. Leadership is a set of skills, but you gotta be consistent every single day, and your drive has to be there. And that actually is true in anything in life. Would you agree? You can't wake up late and not have that drive. You want to run your restaurant, your bookstore, man, you better want to be there. Or no, you're not going to attract anybody to you, right? So I share that because my habits have changed in the last 4 years. I grew up, I was raised watching TV. How many of you know kids, right? I mean, it's a great babysitter, right? So I grew up watching TV, and then at one point in my life, I'm like, it's not giving me the stuff I need. But I didn't do anything about it. But having come into network marketing, I have a tremendous appreciation of it because the leadership positions that you hit form you. It formulates you to be the person that you need to be. Okay? So I'm going to talk to you about the habits of success and ingredients. You ready? Ready? You ready to bake a cake? A success cake? Okay. I don't bake, by the way, so gentlemen, don't. I just say that because it's a set of ingredients you gotta have, right? And I've learned this from the mentors, from the different mentors, like the Jim Rohn, the John C. Maxwell, the Michael Jordan, you know, the people that have created success, I study them. So it's become my passion to go, what do success people do that the others don't, right? And they're common denominators, and they're things that I have applied to myself. Some of them were very painful, new habits that I had to create. But once a habit, right, the 21 days, right, it takes 21 days to create a new habit. Once it's in, you can't get it out, because it feels good, right? So I'm going to share that with you. Now, we're going to go to the first page, which is ingredients to success, okay? These are the things that I found to be essential, okay? The first thing is spiritual connection, okay? And this can be tied to your religion, your faith, or I grew up a spiritual person anyway. Like I felt like there's this whole other bigger force in the universe that will lift me, will pull me if I'm lined up to the universe, right? Or your creator, whatever that means. So that's got to be the first thing you got to have. Every single day you got to go, you know what? I'm meant to be great. Greatness is upon me, but I got to do my part to get there. But you got to believe that first, right? And you got to have that connection, whatever that may be, you know, for your faith, for where you are. Okay? Now, that's the first thing. So just to give you an idea, I do this thing in the morning where I literally listen to a relaxation and visualization tape. It's about 25 minutes. It's actually on my phone. Don't you love smartphones? They're so smart. I'd be like not smart without my phone, right? So I plug it in, headset, before my feet touch the ground. Okay? I listen to it. So now my day is set. Do you know that the first activity that you do in the morning sets the tone for the rest of your day? The first thought that wham hits you is what sets the tone of your attitude for the rest of the day. It's not what comes at you, it's how you are in position to respond to those things. Okay? So that's the first thing I do, and that's the same thing I do at night before I go to bed. What do you think happens in between during the day? Does it really matter when we call it bookending. You bookend your day with the right thoughts, with the right mindset, with the right visualization, and then you bookend it at the end of the night. So you go to bed. You know how some people watch the news before they go to bed? How many of you do that? Okay. And you don't throw anything at me. Just when you watch the news, or whatever, well, usually the news, right? So people go, I don't watch TV, I watch the news. Well, what do you think is on the news? They don't sell good news, do they? Because nobody buys good news. So they sell you bad news. So you're taking in all this stuff. Your subconscious, right? Taking in all this people getting killed, fires, and accidents, and thefts, and all of that stuff. Politicians. Saying things that they claim to be true, right? Promises, right? I love politics. Anyway. I'm being facetious, but anyway, so people say stuff, and you hear stuff, and what do? As soon as you're done, you do what? You take all those thoughts and you do what? You go to bed. What do you think happens in your brain?
Going over and over and over.
You know, my mother, she, you know, God bless her heart, she's 76. She watches TV. You know how older people, how they keep themselves occupied. First thing in the morning, she comes out. You know what she tells me? She goes, do you know that 3 babies got killed? She watched I'm from Thailand, so she watches the satellite. She pays to watch this stuff, okay? So she goes, you know, she tells me all the bad news, and I'm like, can you stop? Stop. You know, I block it out. Like, I literally have gotten to a point where my family, people I know, the surroundings I choose to be in, know that I don't want to hear negative stuff, that you and I can't do anything about. We can only impact positive changes if we're positive first. You keep talking about negative stuff, what happens? You're bringing it in to your system, okay? So that's the first thing. Relational. The spiritual connection is about how you connect to yourself, how you look at yourself in the mirror, in your soul, deep in your soul, and how you really connect to yourself in terms of, you know, who am I about? What am I about? What do I care about? What do I want to do to serve, to give to the world, right? Relational is about how you connect externally. How I connect with Susan. Are we connected? Stephanie, right? Carrie. How do we connect with others? And this totally ties in with, you know what I love about successful thinkers? And I've been involved in many groups, you know, social networking groups, and been president of boards and all this stuff, but I'm selective now of the groups that I want to be part of. And it's not that I'm all that, but I want to feed what I want. Does that make sense? What I love about this group is that format at the end, that one-on-one that Christine was just talking about, where you schedule appointments. I've never experienced anything like it, okay? I go to a lot of these superficial, they call them mixers, right? You swap cards and you come back and you're like, who are these people? Who was which card? And you will see, and make sure you get a copy of this is where the combination of my years in real estate has helped. I put my picture on it because, you know, I don't want to just take my card and go, who is Kasama? At least you have a picture, so maybe you see me next time in the parking lot. You're like, oh, you're that lady on the card, right? Put your picture on it. That's a little marketing tip for you. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, okay? So relational is about how you spend time connecting before you try to get business from someone, or before you try to, I don't know, get whatever it is that you want to get, right? Serve first, right? What are you offering as value as a person to the person that you're getting to know? Have you made time to get to know the person that you're meeting, okay? So here's the thing I want to share with you. When you're, you know, there's a saying that the best listener, I'm sorry, I just gave it away. The best conversationalist is the best listener. Participation is good. Keep me going, okay? The best conversationalist is the best listener, okay? So basically, our Creator has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We just got to use them in that proportion. Listen more than speaking, right? And I've learned that when you really take genuine interest in someone, they want to be with you again. You know, people come away and they go, man, that Christine is somebody I want to get to know. You know why? Because she spends most of the time listening to you, right? We actually like to talk about ourselves, but nobody's listening. Everybody's talking, okay? So that's relational, okay? How you connect with others. The business will come, trust me. The teams, the organizations, the clients, all of those will come if you are magnet, right? If you draw people to you. Intellectual, feed your mind, okay? What goes in here is what comes out, right? If the bad news from the TV goes in here, what do you think comes out? You share the bad news you love. I mean, we're humans. We're not extraordinary beings. I mean, we put out what we take in. What books are you reading? You know, Christine was just talking about the book club. That's the other format I love about successful thinkers. It's like, yes, I got one, by the way. Yeah. Love that book. Yeah. Okay? So, I'm on the Amazon book club. I got so many books, and I've got audio books, you know, my phone. I literally had to get the larger storage chip, you know, memory chip, because I got so many books on there.
Wow.
And I go grocery shopping. I mean, you think I'm like an introvert, like I'm just blocking out the world. It's not music. I don't listen to music. I listen to books. I get so much more because I have about 50 half-read books in my house. I seem to finish more with their audio. So everybody has their way. What do you feed into your mind? What dialogues are being told to you, okay? Now, the next piece is health. And I mean physical and mental. You can't have one without the other. Would you agree? You can't say you're healthy when you're like buffing out at the gym every day, but you're not exercising up here, right? The mind needs to be exercised as well. And what I mean by that is part of, you know, what you feed into your mind and what you're putting out. One of the things I do, and I never did this before, I'm telling you some of the habits that I had never done in 40 years of my life. I'm 46, okay? I journal almost every day. I don't do it every day, but when I have, man, thoughts are like pounding at me, I have to write it down. I have to capture the thought, because you know what? I will not be thinking that way or feeling that way during that moment ever again in my life. So journaling can be powerful because you can go back to it and you can recapture that moment. If that was a winning moment for you, like when, you know, I was promoted to the position, you know, on the stage, and that's a moment, isn't it? But how do you get it back? Remember how those winning moments feel. Journal it. When you have a breakthrough, when you have, you know, at the end of the day, you go, you know, what did I learn today? What did I do that was a step further than yesterday? It sounds corny, but it does magnificent things to you, because now you're feeding the new habit of like, I want more of that. I want more of those breakthroughs, okay? So you're training your mind to want those things. Same thing with exercising. Now, I'm not an exercise buff, I can tell you, but I gotta get my Taibo on DVD in about 3 times a week, or my back hurts. I have bad posture, right? So I have to do the things that I need to do, but now I train myself for my body to say to me, you need to work out. Hello? You're not that busy. You gotta make time, right? Schedule a time for yourself. You know how we're all busy running around with this and that and that and that and squeezing stuff in? Make sure you squeeze in the time to schedule Susan into her calendar, Christine into her calendar, and I'm sorry, I don't know all of your names, so I didn't pick up all of you, right? But make sure you schedule the time for you. That has to be priority, but we don't do it. We're usually the last one that we get ourselves into whatever that we need to do for ourselves. Why is that? It's just priorities, okay? Change your priorities. Financial. What is your income goal? You know, some people have a hard time talking about money, right? Or to even, like, some people think that, and I used to be one of those people, like, I like real estate and I made good money, but I don't like to talk about, oh, if I complete this transaction, I would make this much money. My husband would do it because he's a CPA. He already calculates all that out, okay? I have no idea. Well, here's the thing though, money isn't everything, but as the great Zig Ziglar has said, money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen, isn't it? A little hard to breathe when you don't have it, right? So, if that's the case, why don't you just plan it? Set the goal. What is your income this year? And you know, Jean talks about that as well, right? You know, what is the increase in income for you in 2012 annually? That's not plain conversation. That's like, you know, a measure of success in any area of your life has to be measurable, right? Money is one way of saying, you know, is it enough that you get your bills paid? Is it enough that you have just enough to cover all your expenses? Or do you want that extra for the causes that you care about, for the places that you want to take your family to, for all the other extra people that you actually like, that you want to take with you? All that costs money. So I want you to take just 30 seconds, write down your annual income this year, please. That is not necessarily what it is now, but write it down for me. Okay, I don't see any pens moving. Do you need pens? Just write down a number that comes to you right now. It's just for you. It's no, we're not sharing. I'm not asking you to. Are you gonna write it down now? Okay, good.
Yes.
That's your annual income. Now you gotta kind of set up a plan. But now, you know, it's amazing in the years that I've worked with people. If you don't put it in writing and it's not generated from you, it doesn't happen. You haven't owned it yet. Would you agree? So write down the number, and then you can backtrack and say, okay, what's the plan? What do I need to do to get that? What am I doing now? Am I on my way to accomplish that number? Am I close to it? It's only January, but what am I planning to do in the next 11 months to get me to that number? Okay? Now, balanced lifestyle. This is a big one. It's actually a dance that you will keep dancing, music or not, for the rest of your life. To have balance, it's like, what does that mean? Like, how do you have a balanced lifestyle? But a lot of it kind of sums it up to what we just talked about. Have you prioritized so that you're at the top of the priority list, besides all your clients' meetings and appointments and kids and parents, spouses, whatever else you got to do? How do you have that balance if you haven't planned your day out? You know, I literally look at my day planner every day, not through my smartphone. I put my calendars on there too, but I have like a black and white where I put stuff in there and I plan my week. You know, most successful people actually have, like I used to work for one gentleman who's like a multi-billionaire, owns a private island on, you know, in Florida. Oprah's his friend, Martha Stewart, you know. And he grew up broke. I mean, he was a kid growing up on a farm and built an empire in commodity brokerage. He always had this little card in his pocket. That's his to-do list. Simple. Nothing extravagant, not the smartphone. He's got his card every day, and he writes down the things he needs to do, and he checks it off as he gets them done, right? And then when they don't get done, what does he do? He carries them over to the next day. How many of us are doing that? Wow, that's awesome. I know some of you are not raising your hands because you're already doing it anyway, but you just don't want to, right? But how consistently are we doing those things, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about success qualities. How am I doing with time? Okay, good. I'll wrap it up, okay? As far as success qualities, there are just different habits that you need to have. This is page number 3. I hope we're lining up on the same pages. I'm going to talk about this real quick, okay? You need to choose your surrounding. This is a surrounding that you chose to be part of. What other surroundings are you part of? What other associations, affiliations are you part of? Are they giving you, do you have that common denominator that you're looking for the person that you're becoming, or that you are, okay? Be a solution maker, not a problem seeker. Stuff comes at us, how do we respond? Do we say, man, not this again? Why me? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to knock that out so I can move on to the next thing I got to do. Get it out, get the problem out of the way so I can do what I really need to do, right? Consistency. How consistent are you with all the habits? We could talk about this all day long. How many of you are really going to leave here and actually implement some of the new habits? Ooh, I love it. That's what I'm talking about, right? But every day, for the next 21 days, how many of you? Ooh, the hands are still up. Remember all your faces? Okay. Independence. To really operate independently outside of who is coming with you, who sees your vision, who are your customers that you may not even, your clients you may have not even met yet. How are you going to do this? And it starts with you. And you draw the people to you, to your vision, to your cause, so that they can follow you. You got to lead first, right? That's leadership. Perseverance. My 6-year-old will not take no for an answer at Walmart. He'll hold this box of toy and he will say, Mommy, please, Mommy, please. I say, no, we talked about this. At the checkout, I have to take the box out of his hand and he won't let go. But you know what? Why do we lose that perseverance when we grow up? Why do we let no say, somebody says no, we're like, oh, okay, all right. What happened to that 6-year-old kid? Why is all of a sudden no okay? Sometimes, people say no, and it's not even a no, it's just not now, or they have more questions, but we don't find out. We just go, oh, okay, all right, no, all right, I understand, okay? Being the people around us that basically are, and there's a thing called the buddy system, right? If you start going to the gym and you have somebody go, well, I'm not going to go today, but you have the buddy system commitment. Commitment is what you do long after the moon is gone, right? Find an accountability partner, and I know Jean talked about this as well. If you don't have one, how many of you have an accountability partner? See, we need to work on that, right? Because sometimes you need somebody to just say, sometimes I look at the invitation and I'm going to go, maybe I'll think about it, and I run to somebody and they go, you're coming, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I am. Don't you do that? You weren't going to go, but then you run to somebody who's like part of that event, like, you're coming, right? I'm like, now you have to go because you said you're going, right? Okay, so take action now, okay? The last thing I want to share with you is procrastination is the worst thing, the worst habit that any one of us, but we all have it because we're human. Successful people do things now. Something gets your attention now, do it. Take the first step, even if it's itty bitty tiny step. Because if you never take the first action, none of it will stick around, 5-10 days from now. Because you thought about it, it was a great idea, but you didn't do it, right? Okay, so here's the last piece I'm going to share with you. The last 2 pages, I'm going to leave it for you, okay? Of course, I don't have that page. Hold on. I am actually, and this is my offer to successful thinkers, okay? Can you help me pass out this? Okay. I'm going to ask you to fill this out. Basically, I am doing a webinar series. My first one is actually free. Free is good, right? It's free good? Okay. It's about getting out of the box. It's about breaking through fears. I'm not teaching anything that I haven't gone through myself. That's one thing I'll assure you, okay? We all have fears, but what do we do with fears? Sometimes, a lot of us, we let fears go. We come up with reasons why we can't do the next thing. It's actually fear, but we call it something else, right? My kid's sick, my dog's sick, or whatever it may be. It's a 15-minute webinar that I'm going to do, and there's going to be a series of it. If you're interested, I'm going to send you an invitation to be on the webinar. It's scheduled to be the end of the month, or it'll be early February. I got to figure out a date, okay? And that's for you to listen in. I've got some recorded stuff that's going on. I want to tell you this. My vision of my life, and really my calling, is to impact lives. To get people to do things that they wouldn't do on their own. And it's a process, because I've gone through that process myself, and I'm still tremendously work in progress. But there are things now, I'm just at a place in my life now where I just look at something that I've never done. I'm in the process of writing a book. Things that I've never done, I don't have a problem starting on something I've never done, because I know I'm going to get it done. But you have to have that mindset going into anything you do for you to finish it out. Okay? So that's really my passion, and what, all of the last 4 years in network marketing and everything else has led me to where I am today. There's a reason for everything of the purpose of why we're here. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'd love to be able to give you that gift. If you could turn the card in, fill it out if you're interested. If you're not, that's okay too. I'll still be coming out here and hanging out with you. And it's going to be an ongoing thing. You'll be in the newsletters and you'll get the information. So that whatever it is that I can do to help get you to the next level, or the next piece, or the next, get over the next adversity and challenge, I'd love to be part of that with you. So I hope that this has been helpful to all of you, and I thank you for having me speak, and you're going to be seeing me around. You can't get rid of me, successful thinkers. Thank you very much.